All right, let's get this started. Welcome to the very first cooking vlog of 2024. I should probably tell you what day it is. It's Friday, January 5th, and it's just about 8:45 p.m. Actually, before I forget, let me go and grab something really quick. In my New Year's cleaning vlog, I had showed those of you who watched that episode this beautiful apron that my uncle Squidward made for me. He hand sewed this. It's reversible and it has pockets too. I cannot wait to make this recipe. I was thinking about it while I was working, and I also went for a run today after work, so that has really worked up my appetite. Speaking of running, I should show you what recipe book I'm using. It's called Run Fast, Eat Slow by Shalane, Flanagan, and Elyse Kopecky. They're two very accomplished runners, and this is a New York Times best-selling cookbook. I got it as a Christmas present from my parents 2 Christmases ago now. If you don't know who these two fabulous ladies are, you should definitely Google them and follow them on social media. What I love the most about this recipe book is it's chock full of delicious and nutritious recipes that 2 very accomplished athletes can vouch for. As someone who's an amateur runner who's trying to get faster and smarter about nutrition and figure out what foods work best for fueling and recovery, I could not love this recipe book more. Now let's actually get to the recipe. It has about a dozen ingredients or so. It's called Gimme Veggies Fried Rice. A really helpful feature about this recipe book is it lists in the upper corner of the page that the recipe is on any dietary restrictions that the recipe meets. For example, this recipe that I'm making satisfies a gluten-free diet, it's dairy-free, and it's vegetarian, and it's super easy to make vegan. You just omit the 2 eggs that the recipe calls for. Since it's mostly carbs and vegetables, what you can do is add in a protein substitute, and what I ended up grabbing from the grocery store, if I can find it, this packet of tempeh. Yes, for those of you who don't really eat soybeans or tofu, it might look a little scary, but basically what it is it's soybeans that are pressed together in this patty. You chop it up like you would a steak or a piece of meat. Before I get going with the recipe, it's mostly going to be chopping. I'll show you each of the recipe ingredients. It calls for 2 tablespoons of safflower oil. I have extra virgin olive oil, so that's what I'm going to be using for that. There's tons of veggies, and this is a customizable recipe because it just says 5 to 6 cups of mixed chopped vegetables. My favorite veggies to put into stir fry or any kind of like curry or wok dish. Baby bok choy. This is what they look like. I think most grocery store produce aisles would have bok choy. Carrots, of course, for a little bit of color to break up all of the greens. I also got some organic broccoli. Sorry, some of this is still in plastic bags. I just don't have a huge cutting board, so I wanted to keep some of it in plastic bags just to stay organized. I have a bunch of scallions or green onions. I'm going to be chopping these up and throwing them in. Of course, garlic. Something that I do with pretty much any recipe that I make that calls for garlic is I at least double, if not triple or quadruple the number of cloves that the recipe calls for. Okay, we've got some ginger. This is like a whole ginger root. I'm not going to be using this whole thing. That would be way too much ginger. This is toasted sesame oil. I've had this up in my cupboard for quite a while. Some red pepper flakes, because your girl likes her food spicy. Some salt for a little more saltiness. There's some tamari. This is basically soy sauce. It's brewed soy sauce, technically. I took out my Smucker's peanut butter because for something optional you can do, you can put some like chopped peanuts or cashews on top of the fried rice once it's cooked. I don't have any chopped peanuts and I don't really keep them around here, but I have all of this peanut butter, and what I'm thinking of doing is just taking a little dab of it and throwing it into the fried rice and just mixing it in with the sauce. Last but certainly not least, it's actually the star of the show, is the rice itself. What you have to do for this recipe, and I don't know if all fried rice recipes are like this, but you actually cook the rice ahead of time. Actually, last night I just took the required amount of rice and cooked it off, and then put it in this huge saucepan, plunked it in my fridge, and then took it out this evening. Most of this recipe is just chopping up veggies. I'm gonna quickly grab a big Tupperware bowl to just throw veggies in once I've chopped them. I'm gonna start with these carrots and get these chopped up and ready to go. I just put the ginger, the garlic, and a 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes into the skillet. You might be able to hear it behind me, but now that that is going and the veggies have to go in pretty shortly after like those get started, I'm gonna bring the camera over to the stovetop so you can see everything coming together for the stir fry. And by stir fry, I mean fried rice. That is looking so good. It smells divine. Oh my goodness. Okay, maybe this was a tad ambitious. I really wanted to get everything set out nice and pretty so you could see everything. Let's get this guy all unwrapped. Oh my gosh, I'm so ready to eat. Let's set the candle over here for some nice aesthetic purposes. Okay, beautiful. Oh my gosh, does that not look beautiful? Man, I really feel like I have earned this meal. I'm gonna put a little bit more soy sauce on this, just maybe like a drizzle. Let's finish off the last little half a cup of this beautiful Merlot that I got for Christmas. There we go. Last little bit. It is time to eat. I did sneak a couple of bites, but this is like the proper sit down mouthful. So dang good. Just such a beautiful way to end the week. I could not be more relaxed or more satisfied. This is so silly, but my Canon camera just reached full capacity on the SD card, so I grabbed the good old phone and figured I would film my outro this way. Thank you so much for watching. I am still eating this insanely delicious fried rice, and I am gonna be in a food coma shortly. Take care, and I will see you in my kitchen in the next episode.